brothers on the team, yeah, we getting it done. And shout out to Cherelle, yo, you number one. It started with a dream that turned into a vision. To educate new generations is our mission. Ears to the streets, yeah, we steady politicking. If it ain't about the change, mind your business.
Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. We top picks like we all up on the gram with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. We top picks like we all up on the gram with it.
Tune into another episode of Wait Again Minute Podcast. I am Gam, and I got my sidekick, my co-host, but she's behind the scenes, and that is none other than
Miss Go Getter.
And tonight, y'all, we have a special guest by the name of Miss Cherelle Davis. So how are you, madam?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. So we're gonna jump right on in. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay.
Single woman. Just trying to find her way. Had a bit rough growing up. But not allowing my past to define me. And right now, I'm just trying to put those pieces together and put my past behind me.
Right. Understood. Well, first of all, let me go ahead and put this out here. You don't have to be nervous. Just be yourself. We're going to have a good conversation. And I think, through the conversation, people get to know a little more about you, as well as I'm sure it's going to free you. And I know it's definitely going to free somebody else. Yes. So what made you hit us up? I'm going to go ahead and put you on blast, first of all, because you supposed to came well over a year ago.
Oh, man.
And we in 25. It might have been in 23. I can't remember, but I know it's been over a year.
Yeah, it's been about a year.
Yeah. So what made you hit us up?
I feel like it's time. With the transitioning in my life, the journey that I've been on, I feel like to make things complete, to be able to move completely forward, it's time to tell my story.
So give us a little bit about your story. Start from like when you were younger.
So growing up, I did experience growing up a bit in the group homes and foster homes. I'm going to say from the age of 1 to about 10 or 1 to 11 or something like that. I'm going to say my childhood was somewhat okay, but not okay at the same time. There were things going on behind closed doors that just, would cause a typical teenager or person to, act out and or whatever or whatnot. But I ended up in group home at the age of 12. That was my first time. I'm so sorry. I'm so nervous.
Oh, no, you good.
But first time I ended up in a group home, I was at the age of 12. First time I went to juvenile detention, I was 13. But moral of the story, I ended up pretty much from 13 up until my early 20s growing up pretty much in the system as a foster kid, pretty much.
So what led you to the foster kid? I know you said that you were kind of rebellious because things were happening. So what were some of the things that were happening that make you act the way that you were acting?
Well, I know growing up, most kids back in my days, I mean, some homes believed in discipline, and and there was a form of discipline, but the form of discipline that me and my siblings received was a different form, which was, I would say, a bit of abuse.
It was excessive?
Kind of like excessive abuse. Yes.
So did the system consider it excessive or abuse?
Yes, they did. Okay. Because I was taken away from my mom, and in reference to that, I was taken away from my mom because of that for neglect. I was actually taken away from my mom twice for neglect, whatever. And I just want to put this out there that some of the things that I do may discuss. I love you, Mom, but I did have a conversation with her, and she's, she just told me that, it's okay to tell my story. So I might hurt some feelings, but I just feel like I should not hold back. I should just go ahead and, it's not just about me. It's not about them. It's about saving somebody else's life.
Right.
Tell, somebody else may have went through these things. So
Right. Yeah, it definitely may be more common than we think. I think a lot of times though, when we're going through things, especially with our family, they don't want us to tell things. They want to keep everything. I know, like
Right.
when I grew up, I was in the era of what goes on in my house. When these
stays
four
in the
walls, it stays in the house.
Right.
But we know now that that wasn't a good thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when we know better, then we actually do better. So I think, I'm going to piggyback off what you said. Like, it may hurt some feelings, make people feel a certain, type of way. But I thank you for being vulnerable and, like,
Right.
coming up here and actually wanting to share your story because, like you said, it's time. And it's
Right.
about you,
Right.
So with that being said, you were taken from your mom twice, right? So at what point, if there was a point where you did you ever want to go back to your mom but couldn't go?
I did. So up until at the age of 13, okay, that was the first time I was taken away from my mom. We lived in Suffolk. I was born in Norfolk, but my mom moved to Suffolk when I was 1, and she stayed there until I was 13. So pretty much most of my childhood life, I was, in Suffolk, but at 13, my mom moved away.
Okay.
She did move away because she said she wanted a better life for, something different, or whatever. At the time, her husband that she was with at the time, he had just came home from halfway house, and that's how she ended up knowing about Charlottesville area.
Okay.
So she ended up moving there or whatever or whatnot. So I ended up going to Charlottesville a year after my mom went, which she went when I was 13.
Okay.
So during the time she was in Charlottesville, during that year, I was in foster care, and all I could think about was just being home with my mom. I wanted to, just be with my sisters, be around my sisters, my siblings. And I just wanted a relationship with my mom
Right.
more than anything, like, regardless of what happened and what we went through. So we made that happen. Yeah. Months later, after a while, I eventually ended up going to Charlottesville.
So when you were still in foster care, because I know you said at first 12 or something like that, you was here, but your sisters, your siblings, they were still with your mom, or were they in foster care? You were?
I'm sorry. My older sister, she was grown. She was already on her own, but my baby sister, she was with my mom.
Okay.
She went to Charlottesville with my mom. She's the only one that did not go to foster care.
Oh.
But my older sister, she also went to foster care when she was younger.
Wow.
Okay, I got you. So therefore, when your mom left, you were still here.
I was still here.
But why did they take you into foster care system, but not your younger sister didn't go into foster care system? Was it behavior problems on your end too, or was it just the abuse on your side?
It was mainly I feel like I probably got more, I was more affected on my end, and I want to say probably the reason why, because I did ended up calling the cops on my mom when I was 10, and I want to say from 10 up in that point, my mom just said, I don't care about her.
Right.
And that's when the neglect pretty much came in. And I feel like she held a grudge against me for years for calling the cops on her. But I called the cops on her because she woke my sister up out her sleep by beating her out of her sleep. And I ran to an older lady's house. And, you know, back then, old people, they're not going to get in your business. They're not going to let you, they're not going to get involved.
Right.
But I'm not going to say any names, but rest in peace. She's, you know, she's not here. I don't like saying rest in peace, but sleep in peace. But she's not, no longer here. But this lady opened her door for me at 10 o'clock at night. That's late back then. That was late back then. 10 o'clock at night, everybody's in the house, lights off. And she opened her doors for me, and she gave me the phone to call the police. And she said out her own mouth, your mama got to stop whooping y'all like that.
Right.
And I called the police.
So your mom felt some type of way because you were doing only what you knew to do. You know what I'm saying? You were feeling like you need to get help, and she felt like, don't be calling the police on me, like telling my business, basically, you know, because at that point when the police come, 9 times out of 10, somebody's going to jail.
She did go to jail that night. She got arrested that night, and yeah, we ended up having to go to my grandma's house that night while she was in jail, spent a few hours in jail or whatever, and got processed. And I think she was upset with me because my mom never in her life ever had been arrested. She had never in her life ever been in jail. And that was the first time she ever been arrested.
So when she got arrested and she got out, did you guys go back with her, or did you stay with your grandmother, or how was that?
We ended up going back with her, but at that point, the abuse stopped, but the neglect as far as like motherly kicked in.
Duties, yeah, okay.
Yeah. It was just like, it was verbal abuse. Really bad verbal abuse. Like, bad verbal abuse.
So did anyone else in the family know that this abuse was going on, or was this like a isolated thing in the house only?
Yes, other people
Most
knew.
of the family knew.
Family members knew. People in the neighborhood knew. Church members knew. Church members knocked on the door. A couple of neighbors have knocked on the door and asked my mom to stop whipping us.
So your mom did that. Like, did she grow up? Like, what made her do that to you guys? Like, did she grow up like that, or she
was mistreated?
Okay.
When she was out of 5 kids, from what I'm hearing, she was mistreated, and that's part of the reason why I was able to forgive my mom, because I knew it had to come from somewhere. She finally, like, one day, she's like, "I'm sorry, I apologize," and all I wanted to hear was you admit what you did and that you were sorry. And she did. She admitted what she did, and she was like, yes, she didn't, you know, she said enough that I knew she was sorry, but she was like, yeah, I might have whooped y'all and went overboard when I whooped y'all. She was like, but I'm sorry, it was done to me. And it not just came from her. I heard this from an aunt. One of my aunts who passed away, and she was like, yeah, you know, mama didn't treat Rosa right, you know, whatever. But, yeah, sorry.
Well,
yeah.
it's cool. So when your mom told you that she was sorry and she apologized for all she had done, like, how did that make you feel?
It took a big weight off of my shoulders. It was a big relief, because who as a kid deserves that?
Wow.
No kid.
I'm sorry that you actually went through that, and then listening, you know, to you speak of how your mom endured the same thing, and it's like the cycle repeating itself. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Want some tissue? I told you the tissue right there whenever you need it.
So now you back with your mom. So you back with your mom. You're older now.
Yeah.
And your mom, were you an adult when your mom apologized, or were you a
I was an
young
adult at the time, but I was still like, I mean,
A kid.
Like
I was still a
young adult.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was 19.
Okay.
I was 19 years old when I remember. Yeah, I remember I was 19 when my mom apologized. And ever since then, I forgave my mom. And I still forgive my mom. I just,
So how your relationship with other people? How have your relationship with like other people been since you became an adult? Because you know sometimes when you experience relationship, because even the relationship with your mom, your siblings, your family, whatever, it's still a relationship
right.
of
right.
some sort. So have that like tarnished other relationships with you?
I mean, it made me as a person want to love somebody the way that I never been loved. I always wanted to give someone the love that I never had. And I didn't care what happened to me. I wasn't that person that wanted to be selfish and take my love away. I wanted to give it someone something and show them how I wanted to feel.
Right.
But it messed me up because I ended up bumping into the wrong people that took advantage of my love. Relationships, looking for, I wouldn't say necessarily looking for a father figure. I'm gonna say I had a fetish of dealing with older men when I was younger. I was dealt with older men.
And that could be
Yeah,
considered
it was
a
because,
counselor with
and it was
father.
because
Trauma,
of,
yeah.
and I feel like that was because I really didn't have that father figure in my life as a kid. But it's one man, and I won't say his name, but we had a blood test when I was 17, and we built a relationship, a very strong relationship. Before he found out that I was a possibility of me being his child, and he showed me, and just he showed me so many things in just so little time of what a father was. I found my real father though when I
Okay.
was like 34, and I'm 39 now.
Okay.
So how was that relationship?
I do and I don't, because he got his own thing going on. He got to work on himself.
Right. Wow.
Okay.
Okay, so you said something. You said about relationships and bumping up into the wrong people, like when those relationships. And let me go back. When you said about giving the love to people because it was what you wanted. A lot of times when we do that, we kind of people please. We kind of overexert ourselves,
Yeah.
on people. But when you're doing that and you realize that this person is not for you, right? How did you handle that? Because I know talking to you, in the conference room, you said you never had counseling. So that means that all that you went through, you're now currently into this new relationship. And it's always been older men, right?
Yeah. I'm not in. You mean like in my past? Like,
In your past?
yeah, it was older men. And that's how I ended up, dating someone that took complete, full advantage of me 100%. Like, everything that I told him I went through in my childhood, he already had that characteristic of him anyway, of an abusive person. And he just took everything that I went through and that I told him that I went through and just turned around and flipped it and just used it against me. He abused me in every kind of way imaginable that you can imagine. Every
Wow.
kind of way.
And how long were you with him?
I dealt with him for 7, 8 years.
So you were in an abusive relationship for 7 to 8 years. What
I'm
they
not
do?
going to say the entire 7 to 8 years, but half, most of it, yes.
Wow. So what were some of the things that actually happened when you say that he abused you in more ways than you could possibly think?
Well, I dealt with mental, verbal, physical, sexual. Um, Almost lost my life, pretty much.
Can you expound on that a little bit?
Well, I don't know if you, well, I'm pretty sure you guys remember the story years ago where a guy set his girlfriend's vaginal on fire, and that was me. Um, I dealt with this person.
So he set your
Vagina.
coochie on fire? So what caused
Yeah.
him to do that? Like,
You gotta be a
Well,
messed up
y'all-
individual to do
yeah,
something like
because
that.
like, were y'all arguing? Or like, okay, I know you said that he was kind of controlling. He took advantage, and that probably was the case. He saw your story. You know, you told him your story, and he saw that you was giving out this love, but you was also a damaged soul, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? So, at what point did he start actually being abusive? Because I know you said it wasn't the entire 7 or 8 years. So did he like whine and dine you at first? Like how did he
Yeah,
like,
I
come
met
out the
him.
gate with it?
I met him. I met him when I was here visiting for a summer, and I was getting ready to head back to Charlottesville, and I met him
Okay.
and hooked up with him on the first night. That's why I don't believe in that right now. I don't believe in doing that right now. Yes. Hooked up with him the first night, and I did still go back home to Charlottesville, but I was here every single weekend for 4 months straight. He was paying for me to come here every weekend to see him.
Oh, okay.
And after that, I think I don't know, but we stopped talking for like a couple weeks. And he was like, you know what, I can't take you being there and I'm here. So he was like, I got to bring you here. So he moved me down here. And I ended up coming here, living with him. Everything was great for like the first 6 months. But after
he was showing you that representative.
yeah, he was the what you call it, the sheep in the wolf's clothing. Yeah, he was a monster in disguise. That's the way I describe him. He was a monster in disguise. And
So what was the first thing that made you think like that he might have did that make you think like, wait a minute, hold up, this is not the same person I was traveling every weekend for? Like, what was that first little thing that made that light bulb start coming on a little bit more before it actually got bright? Do you remember? Like, was it a yelling or? Because, sometimes when a person the representative starting to leave, it's something that they start doing that make you go, what? But you keep going in, like, okay, let me
I'm gonna say he basically it was more like a he got me there mentally.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
He had got me there mentally first, and he started doing little things like playing on my mental to test me, to see what I would do. And I'm young. I think I'm in love. This man had moved me down here, and I'm like, well, maybe he doing this because he loved me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he didn't start getting physical until he started locking me in the room.
So how did that happen? Like the first day, I'm just, like, how did that happen? And what did you say when the first time he come and say, hey, I'm gonna lock you in this room and I'll be back?
He said, he just came to me and he was like, he was basically saying, I take this thing off. He was like, he basically told me he was gonna put the lock up there, but he tried to manipulate it like he wanted me to feel safe, and it's too many people hanging out outside around the house. Somebody could get in the house or whatever, and
So you'll feel safe in a closed
I was
locker
just
room.
confused. At that point, I was scared and confused, but I didn't know what to say, you know, because I had been there. I was used to being there, and it was like certain things that just became the norm to me without realizing that, like, I was being brainwashed. And so he had gradually got me to that point. But once he, because he, like I said, he played on my mental. He would do like little physical, like he would just do things like just like a mental abuse, to test me to see if I would leave him and stuff like that. And it just started getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So he came to me one day and he was like, he sat me down. He was like, I'm gonna put this lock on his door when I leave. He was like, I'm just gonna do it only while I'm going to work or whatever, but I'm not gonna do it the whole time. I'm just gonna. He said, we're gonna just try it out for the first couple of days and see how it goes.
Trial a locked room to see how it go.
Yeah,
Wow.
basically he had me locked in our bedroom while he was at work. So
And y'all were in somebody else's house, or y'all was in your own place together?
we
but
was
he just
we was roommating with
okay.
with
Somebody
a
else.
cousin. Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's crazy.
So you was roommating with a cousin. So a cousin is actually there, and you're locked in a room.
His cousin, like,
Was like in and out.
yeah, like I'm gonna say he was like basically he had like a control over him too.
Mm.
Oh.
His cousin was younger than him. He had like control over him.
Okay, so he was controlling you both.
Yeah, he
Wow.
Okay.
like
Well,
he
manipulating you.
like his it was like a it
Oh,
was.
wow.
So he was a powerful man because like in listening to you talk about it, like because once a person got you mentally, everything else just falls in place.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
like once they got you mentally, it's like you're gone. Like
Yeah.
you're like I couldn't think for myself. And then I mean, this man feeding me, he taking care of me. Like
So to you, it was love.
to me, it was.
I mean, early on.
He was protecting
I'm not gonna say because the love eventually turned into fear, and that's what I try to. It was confusion and fear, but at the same time, it was like it's easier to say that you could walk away from something, but it's
Very
like
hard.
you can't. But it's hard to go. I had ran away plenty of times and still found myself back.
So how did you get away? The times you ran away, how did you get away?
I would run away while he was sleeping.
Okay, so the room door would be unlocked at that point.
Yeah, I would take the key and unlock the room, sneak and unlock the room while he was sleeping. And sometimes it would be open, and I would be lucky enough he don't wake up and duck and tie me up while he sleep.
Did he do that one time? Did he tie
He
you
did
up?
that a few times. He would duck tie me up while he sleep, so I wouldn't run away.
So what made you come back when you ran away? Did he come looking for you, or did he
I
call
could
you?
see him looking for me. I could see him looking for me. I could be somewhere hiding and see him. He would knock on the door to door. He would be going from door to door, knocking.
Okay, so that's what made you go back.
Cause it's like
Wow.
you
It's like I don't.
nowhere
It's like
else
you
to go.
scared. You don't want to put
Yeah.
nobody else in.
Mm-hmm.
Then a few times he threatened that he would do something to my mom and them.
Right.
I was all the way in Charlottesville at this time. One time, I went all the way there in Charlottesville. When I got away there, he had shot me at that time.
He shot
He
you?
shot you or shot at you?
He shot me. He shot me with a BB gun. I still got a BB right here, my hand, right here. He shot me.
Oh, he was mean as hell.
And yeah, he shot me. He went to the hospital, tried to get him taken out. The nurses knew something wasn't right, so they like, you need to tell us what's going on. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
So we can help you. Yeah.
And I ended up telling the nurses what was going on, and they made me promise them, if I don't go back, they'll pay for me to get a bus ticket home.
Mm-hmm.
They paid for my bus ticket home, and they made sure that I didn't go back to the house when I got home. And
Oh, so that's when you went to Charlottesville.
I went to Charlottesville, and a few days later, I ended up back. And that was after he shot me. So it got worse towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end, shot me, stabbed me, and set me on fire. Stabbed me first, then shot me, then set me on fire.
Okay, this was all the same.
All in the same like
night.
2 months.
Okay.
Within 2 months.
So he shot you with a BB gun.
Yeah, he stabbed me first in my legs.
What's up, family? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of WGM&x podcast. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Hit that notification button as well, so when we drop a new episode, you'll be first to know. Stay tuned to all things WGM&x.
And you went to the hospital for that?
I didn't go to the hospital. He poured some.
So he patched you up.
He patched me
so
up.
he was your doctor too.
Yeah.
Oh man! And how old were you around this time?
I was 21. I was 21 at this time.
How old was he?
31, 32.
Wow. So he shot you, stabbed you, and set you on fire.
He stabbed her, shot her, then
What?
set her on fire.
Okay. Because I think at this point he's probably sense of fear for him. He feel like he's losing control.
He was because the padlock thing. I started finding ways to break out the room because he had drilled the window shut too. He drilled the windows shut.
What?
Yeah, he drilled the window. He bought a drill and drilled the window shut. And bought the padlock and drilled the padlock on the outside of the room door.
So by this time, you was already like deep in, so you was real fearful by this time.
He was already had been whooping me up left and right. Yeah.
So, and you never told your mom and none of that, like, on your side?
My mom kind of, they knew, but they didn't know to the extent how bad it was. They didn't know. Like, I have one female cousin, and her and I were, like, really, really, really close. And unfortunately, we're not close anymore.
Why is that?
Because everybody has their own thing that they're dealing with, you know. And sometimes what you're dealing with and what you're going through, it might clash with somebody else. Not intentionally. Some people just, I don't know. I'm just going to say some people just can't handle the way you grow. I'm just going to say that specifically. I don't have a relationship with, you know,
Her anymore.
And yeah.
Wow.
But
so when you kept trying to leave and kept going back, right? And then what was the final straw to where you're no longer with him anymore?
that was when he almost killed me. But I wasn't with him anymore after that.
Okay.
After he had shot me or whatever, I went back, but I knew that I could not stay because I said, this man, I was just dreaming that he was going to kill me.
Yeah.
Every night I was just praying, like just saying the Lord's Prayer. I had to sleep with a comb with the metal tooth on it, and I was sleeping with that.
Comb.
I was sleeping with that under my pillow every night. And it got to the point where I'm scared because I'm going to kill this man because he's going to try to kill me.
Right.
And I already got fractured bones. I had fractured bones and everything from, permanent black eye for a long time. And I'm like, he's going to kill me. He's going to kill me. So eventually, I got to the point where I was just like, I'm gone. And I wasn't with him when he sat during the time when he set me on fire. We wasn't together.
So how was he able to get close to you?
Because he begged me to come see him.
Oh, okay.
He begged me to come see him, and I went to go see him.
So, walk us through that night or that day when that happened, when he begged you to come see him, and then he set you on fire. Like, how did that happen?
So, I went to go see him. We was chilling. We was getting high, and yeah, I had a substance abuse. I'm not gonna say it was I was dealing with him. He had a problem, and sometimes when you with somebody, you might do what they're doing, and or whatever. So we was getting high and drinking, and we had sex. And I just knew something was off. Just something just won't right up. Just his whole demeanor, his whole just something, just spirit, just everything was just off. And he eventually said that he took an E-pill that night, and he never took an E-pill before, so he was off some stuff. He was off a few things that night. And he looked like he had been up for days. His hair was gray. He looked like, I feel like he probably had on his mind that he was going to make a decision that he was thinking about making. I don't know. But he looked like a tired old man. Just looked like something wasn't right. He wasn't acting right. We had sex. And he kept pacing back and forth to the bathroom. And in the bathroom, there was a box of latex gloves in the bathroom. And scissors. And he kept pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth. No, he came in the room. He grabbed after we had sex, he went to the bathroom. He came back in the room. And he was like, I was like, what you doing? He said, I'm grabbing my phone because I can't see. But that puzzled me because I'm like, all he had to do is turn on the light.
Right.
Then he came back in the room and he grabbed, and I believe that's when he grabbed the scissors. Because I heard, when you heard something, like you heard metal, I heard some metal scrape, like he picked some metal up. And he went to the bathroom and he come back. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm scared because I'm like, what in the world is going, like, what is he doing? We just finished having sex. He's acting weird. So I don't know what. So he comes back in the room and he was like, you trying to do it again? I'm like
what?
What? So I'm like, all right, okay. It's just weird to me. So he never, out of all the times we had sex, he never had to. And I might be being a little too TMI, but he never had to grab his stuff and I would just get on it, or, he would get on top of me, but he never just had to grab his stuff and guide it, up in there or whatever. And he grabbing his stuff, and I found that weird because his whole body language is weird. He planted a piece of latex glove inside of me as if, like, I had sex with somebody, like a condom came out of me. He cut a piece of the latex glove, the tip of one of the 5 fingers. He cut a piece of it and planted that inside of me. And he wanted me to tell him that I had sex with somebody, which I did, but that I wasn't with you.
Right.
But you planted that inside of me. And from that point, so at that point, I'm just like, now I'm feeling like I'm ready to die. Because his whole demeanor is just different from before. It's like I'm looking right at the devil. I felt the devil's prize. I felt like I was always looking at the devil anyway when he was putting his hands on me. But so now I'm just like, I'm scared. So I'm like, what you want to do? He like, you want to finish? I'm like, finish what? He like, you want to finish doing it? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm saying to myself, you want to finish doing it after you just sat here and asking me all of this and accusing me? So he leaves back out the room again, and he comes back. And when he comes back in the room, this time the light was on at this point. He had turned the room light on. Now he turns the room light off, and he goes to act like he was getting on me, and then I feel this liquid being poured on me. And I'm like, what you doing? He's like, I'm pouring oil up there. I'm like, why are you pouring oil on me? That last thing I'm thinking is he's about to strike a lighter and try to set me on fire. And he poured that oil and he struck that lighter, and that shit just, he just whoosh. It just went whoosh. And I just screamed. But as soon as I hit it, the fire went out instantly. But I know God was with me because my legs, none of that I'm not supposed to use none of that right now. I was ever supposed to never use any of that again because all of that's supposed to be burned so freaking bad because he dumped a whole bottle of African Pride hair oil down on me, and it was all on my thighs and in between my legs. And at that point, he just he just started doing any and everything he could think of to torture me and torture my insides, and just
Why?
Wow.
So while you was on fire, he started doing other stuff to you too?
I mean, I wasn't on fire anymore,
Okay.
but he is, of course, why he assumed that I'm burned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was doing other stuff to me. He was trying to push stuff in me. He did. He scraping my insides. Like,
Did he snap? Like, did he have a mental break? Like, what happened to him for him to do all? That was just like that was like overkill. That was just too much.
he watched his father abuse his mom. He watched his father do it, so he felt like it was okay. And then he grew up with a family that fighters. He grew up like that, you know.
So what happened after that? You went to the emergency room, or what happened?
So I ended up running out. I got away butt ball naked. I had to run out of the house butt ball naked. I don't know how I got out, but I seen him reaching in the shoebox for, he was looking in the shoebox, but I know there was only two things in the shoebox: his baggies and his safe, because he, you know, did his thing too. He had his baggies, his safe, and he had scissors in that box. And I knew he wasn't going to grab no baggies, and I knew he wasn't grabbing no safe up out that box.
Right.
He was going for them scissors. So in my mind, this man is about to stab me to death. He's about to cut me up with these scissors. So I don't know. All I could think of, I just told him to look, and I was like, look, and he looked and he turned around, and I just
Broke.
got up. I was sitting down in Indian style, like acting like I was pretending like he burnt me up, like to keep from him. I don't know how I got up and got away, because both the doors, one door it was a screen door and then a storm door, and they both had a lock on it. The screen door had a latch on it. And I just don't know how. I don't know how I got out that. I know how. It was God.
God, yeah.
God, but yeah, he chased me out.
And then, did you go to the emergency room, or what happened from that point once he chased you out?
I didn't go straight to the emergency room. It was two guys that walked up. That's how I got away. They one of them pretending like he had a gun and told him to let me go. And he took me over to his aunt's. We called the police. It took the police forever to get there, but they took me to Oversee. They ended up taking me to Oversee, but Oversee couldn't. My body was so damaged and messed up. They wouldn't even allow them to run tests on me. They took me from Oversee straight to the crime scene lab, some lab in Chesapeake, where they just had me lay in a room on a stretcher and turn this blue light on to see all the evidence or whatever. That was Oversee they didn't patch me up or do any of that. They fixed me up and patched me up and all of that at the lab, at the crime scene lab.
Wow. So at this point, where is he? Like, is he still back at the house, or?
At this point, no, he took off. After the guys had grabbed me and got me and walked me across the street, I seen him riding past in his baby mama's car. He jumped in his baby mama's car and hauled tail.
So did he ever did you press charges against him?
I didn't press charges, but Commonwealth automatically filed charges. He had a history of abuse to women, and the way my body was messed up, they filed charges on their own. I didn't have to.
So did you have to testify against him, or they just pretty much?
I did, but then I didn't, because I just couldn't. I was like in the courtroom. The man had so much control over me. He was telling me what to say in front of the judge, and I was saying it in front of the judge. And they stopped the court right then and there and was like, get him out of here. And they took me out. So from that point on, I couldn't be in a courtroom with him anymore.
So you was up there perjuring yourself with him right there.
I was scared that he was gonna break out them chains because he looked like he had gained weight, and that's how much control he had over me. He looked at me and he was like, "Plead the fifth."
And so you was pleading the fifth.
I looked at the judge and I said, "I plead the fifth, judge." And the judge said, "That's it. Get him out of here." It was like he was basically he was trying to control them. He was trying to control and tell them what was gonna happen. So
really, oh wow,
he definitely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So needless to say, he's going up the road now.
Yeah, he's gone.
So since then, how have you been? So I know you said you haven't received counseling.
No, because
all of this trauma.
I just never wanted to just sit down with somebody and just relive that and just talk about that. So I just try to find other ways to cope.
So what have been some ways to cope?
Praying was one of my main things. That's what got me through all these years. Praying, the only thing,
so
main thing.
You're not abusing anything now, right? Like
no, ma'am. No,
okay.
no. MJ. Don't tell nobody.
He said what?
I said don't tell nobody. MJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I drinks my wines. But other than that, no, I looks nothing like what I've been through. I don't feel like I've been through a lot. I don't try to hold my past and let that define me.
Right.
But what I do try to cope is be something different and try to be a voice for somebody else.
Right. Which I'm sure it has to be hard because, you're in a position where you go from, a child to a teen to, preteen to an adult. And it's basically like it keeps following you.
Yeah.
So, and I know you said that you were praying, but how was your relationships now? Like, do you still feel kind of iffy or tiptoeing around it because of your past, or do you kind of like just block that out?
I really don't have a desire to be in a relationship with a man. The last relationship I had was 6 years. My past relationship after him, my recent relationship, that took so much of a toll on me. And I still love that person to this day, but I feel like that person ain't having no guidance. But they wasn't so much like putting their hands on me or nothing like that. They were just, it was just our priorities and our differences, But it took so much of a toll on me because of the past things I went through. I feel like a man right now is the last thing that can do anything for me. I'm not saying I want to be in a relationship with a woman. I'm just saying I don't want to be in a relationship as far as companionship with anybody. Right now, I'm on a journey of falling in love with me and getting to know me better and who I am, because I never really got a chance to do that.
Right.
And the journey that I've been on, just being a single woman and this spiritual journey and getting to know who I am, and I feel good. I know I'll feel even better once I, getting all of this out or whatever. My relationship with people has my past. I'm going to say it kind of have affected relationships with other people because, sometimes your trust, and you could be on a defensive a lot. When it come down to certain situations, you don't know the difference in someone trying to help you or someone looking out for you. But most of the time, I encounter people who pretended like they wanted to look after me just so they could know what I got going on, just to put me down. I've dealt with people who knew that I was down and still kicked me in my butt. And I know I got a good heart. Regardless of what I've been through, I ain't out here mistreating nobody because I know how that feels. I don't want to put nobody down because I know how it feels. I can't see myself bullying or hurting nobody's feelings because I know how that feels.
Right.
I cannot watch. It's hard watching children.
It's okay. It's a good release. It's okay.
I had to sit down and tell my story because that little girl is still inside of me. That little girl that still sometimes questions why this had to happen to me? But it's also that big part of me that's so grateful because without all of that pain and trauma that I went through, I would not be who I am right now. I wouldn't have the mindset that I have now. And
it's a lot. It's definitely
it's a lot. It's a lot to intake when you're dealt with abuse all of your life. And I'm not talking about any ordinary abuse. I mean, I was a sex slave at one point, I feel like.
wow.
You know, I feel like someone just took advantage of me. I'm not happy about things that I've done because that's not what I wanted to do. I was forced. And not saying that I was out here in the street and no, I'm talking about behind closed doors with the person that you're supposed to love, the person that you're supposed to trust the most,
Right.
the people that you love the most, that I ever cared about the most, that I loved the most, hurt me the most, more than anybody.
Right.
That's why I'm a loner.
Have you forgiven those people who've hurt you?
I do, but I forgive them, but I have to find a way to heal properly. I'm taking my steps.
Right.
I'm directing my steps. I can't, in order for me to have a stronger relationship with people like I really want to, I have to release all of this trauma. Because I still deal with things sometimes where I take things offensive. I still have attitude problems sometimes for no reason. And I know why. Because I'm mad about something that I done thought about and I'm taking it out on somebody.
Right.
That's not cool. I don't like having a nasty attitude toward people because that's not cool.
Right.
And I feel like that's what I need to work on as far as, you know, that's something that I need to continue to work on my healing so that my relationships with just people in general can be just better.
Healthier.
Just healthier. For the most part, like I said, I'm not mistreating nobody or stealing or taking from nobody or putting nobody down, but I could come off a little strong sometimes. You know, and I feel like it's okay sometimes because sometimes you got to come off strong.
Yeah, because you get ran over.
You get ran over, and I'm in my era where I'm learning how to put my foot down. For a long time, I didn't want to say no because I'm worried about hurting somebody else's feelings. But I'm in a point where I'm putting my foot down now, regardless if it hurts someone's feelings, because I got to think about mine. I got to think about mine, and I have to protect my peace and my sanity. And out of everything that I've gone through, who to knows I could snap out one day and just do something that, you know, that's why I try to be careful of the steps that I take. And when I'm out in public and out and dealing with people, I try my best to have a good time. I like to laugh. I am a goof troop. I love to laugh. I love to laugh, and I will do that to keep my mind off things. I'm going to watch some videos that make me laugh. I don't watch a lot of TV and none of that stuff, but I'm going to watch something to make me laugh, or I'm going to try to make somebody else laugh. And it made my day when that video went viral.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh. But, y'all, I just...
You're definitely going to be okay. It's going to be easy? Absolutely not. I mean, you know, nothing like that will be easy. But I would say, you know, even though we appreciate you coming and talking to us and sharing with us, I would say talk to a professional too, because they can give you the tools, even though you say you're carefully, watching your steps, cool, but they can give you the tools to be able to pivot. And when you're having those moments where you're kind of uncertain or you're going back, they can give you the tools to help push you further. So I would say, like, find somebody who you can, and maybe a trial and error thing. The first person you go to, you may not. Look, I didn't need it.
I had a therapist, y'all. I had one, and this is, to be honest, she was the best. Somebody that I really put my trust in. She cared about me. She really cared about me, and I was 16 at the time, and I mean, she was the first person that stood up against my mom, and understood me, and understood and didn't allow my mom to manipulate the situation.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
And for the first time, I felt like I had somebody that had my back, like completely had my back. And she got pregnant. She moved away to Texas. It devastated me, y'all. I told myself I wasn't talking to a therapist ever again since then, and I haven't. I have not talked to a therapist since then, and I just said it's just going to be me and God and myself.
So I know you said that you was, getting to learn yourself and spend time with yourself so you don't have time for a relationship. So at this point, what have you learned about yourself?
I know what I want and what I don't want. I know what I will tolerate and what I won't tolerate. I don't want an abusive person in my life. I don't want nobody manipulating me. I don't want nobody putting their hands on me. As far as relationship wise or in general, I want to be an advocate for battered women. I want to be a voice for the children who's growing up in dysfunctional homes.
So you're telling me so far about what you want in other people and what you want to do, but what have you learned about yourself?
Oh, you saying whatever? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I mean, I learned that I'm a strong woman. I'm stronger than what I thought I was. I'm worthy than what the next person thought that I wasn't. I am a phenomenal woman. I have a purpose. I didn't go through those things for a reason. So I learned that I cannot live in fear anymore. I have to be a voice. I've learned that I'm a conqueror. I'm a survivor.
And it goes to what you have on today too. You got your soldier outfit.
You know what? Stop it.
You got your soldier outfit.
Yeah, I'm a soldier.
So let me ask you this. So what would you say to your younger self? If you could speak to her at any point in your life, but the younger you, what would you say to yourself?
To my younger self, I would say, don't give up and keep going. And you are a star. You are somebody. Everything that happened to you, it's okay. Because you made it. You survived.
Absolutely.
And you will conquer. You will conquer. You will succeed. Everything. God has something in store for you. That's what I would say.
That's powerful. That's powerful. That's definitely powerful. it's just so much. And, you know, listening to your story, and, you know, we often say it a lot of times, people don't look like what they've been through, but you literally do not look like what you've been through. So, you know, that's a good thing, you know, because I think that would even make the situation even worse. You know what I'm saying? But have you talked to the gentleman that did some of these things to you? Have you talked to him since, you know, the court situation, or you kind of like done with that whole situation?
Honestly, after I wanted closure, I did want him to. I wanted to know why he did those things to me. I wanted to know why.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know why he was so cruel and so mean. And I was working with a guy one day, and he said, "Real, you know, I was just locked up with such and such." And he said, you know what he said? I said, what did he say? He said, man, he said he regret what he did to you. He told me, he said, out of all the females he did that to you, he said you was the only one that he regret because you did not deserve that.
Wow.
So that made me feel nobody deserved it. None of us deserved that.
Right.
But him telling me that, it gave me the closure, that partial closure that I was looking for. And it kind of made me feel slightly okay. You know, I pray for that person. I pray for them. I pray for them. I forgive them and I pray for them, because a person like that, that's a sickness.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're dealing with
a demon.
Demons. Something that's beyond the flesh's control.
Right.
And I did. Honestly, yes, I did. That's how much of a hold he had on me. He did. Sometime he came home, and I ended up going right back to him. I ended up being back with him for some time. But it wasn't more so, he wasn't physically abusing me anymore. It became mental. It became like a mental abuse, because instead of him putting his hands on me, he was just, you know, it was a verbal. I'm going to say verbal. It was more verbal abuse. And
How long were you with him?
I dealt with him
After the fact.
after the fact. I dealt with him off and on for some years, because I did get in a relationship. I was in a relationship for 3 years right after him. But after that 3-year relationship, you know, I ended up still, you know, going back talking to him. But I was talking to him before I got in that relationship. But I was still in, so off and on for some years. That happened in 2008. I'm going to say up until maybe about 2012. I still dealt with him.
So how much time did he get for what he did to you?
I believe they gave him 15 years and suspended some.
Okay.
So he did roughly maybe about 3 years?
Like a year or something like that, 2 years, something like that. And the rest of the time he had over his head.
So when you were dealing with him, when you went back to him, did he ever apologize to you?
He did. He apologized to me. I was gone off this man. He claimed his people had roots on me, so that I wouldn't leave him alone.
Probably.
So while he
It's
was
a possibility.
So while he was behind bars, you was talking to him.
While he was behind bars, I wasn't talking to him, but
When he came home.
around close to the time when he came home, when I knew he was about to come home, he wanted to see me too, and I ended up going back
And
to
you wanted to see him too?
And I wanted to see him too. I did.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
I did. And but he told me one day, he was like, and it's crazy that he told me this, and part of me feel like it's true, because I had this thing growing on my ankle. It was like a keloid, like. He said, I can't take it no more. One day he said, I can't take it no more, Cherelle. I got to tell you this. He said, my people's put roots on you. He said, that day that we was in court, he said, they dropped something on the floor in the courtroom.
I believe it.
And he said, but they wasn't in the court. He said, they came in, dropped it on the floor, but they couldn't be sit in court. And I remember seeing a family member of his come in court, but they didn't sit in court during the trial. Only his siblings did. And I had this thing growing on my ankle or whatever. And he was like, I got to tell you this. He said, because I really feel like it's working on you. Like, I feel like no matter what I do to you, you just can't, you're not going to leave me alone. And that's how I felt like I could not leave this man alone. And it seemed like the moment he told me that I had the desire to start, to get away from him, to free myself from him, I started feeling like I just knew, like, girl, it started to dawn on me, like, girl, this man almost killed you, and you still sitting here chilling with him. You playing with fire. This is what I'm telling myself. You're playing with fire by keep going around this man, and I wasn't having sex with him anymore. I'm going to be honest. I was only going around him because it was a free high. I didn't have to go out in the street and get high. I knew I could get a free high off of him. But I'm telling myself, why you sitting here taking advantage of a free high, he gonna mess around and probably rape you and do something to you and kill you. This time you gonna die. This is what I'm telling myself. So me telling myself that, I just gradually wrung myself away, and I just had no desire to be around him or to get high or none of that. So, and that thing that was growing on my ankle started fading, disappeared completely. I'm serious, on my mama. The moment that man told me that thing started disappearing, like within a month or two, that thing was gone. It just started getting smaller and smaller and smaller. But it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But the moment he told me that, it started getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it just disappeared. You can't even tell I ever had it. I have good skin. I never had a keloid on my skin ever in my life, and it was like a long straight line, but it was a thick keloid, like it was growing on my ankle. I never had that before. And he told me, he said that's part of, that's what he said. Yeah.
So, but you wouldn't go back with him now, though, right?
No, I would know if he came home. I don't want to date.
Oh, so he's back in jail again?
He's doing 25 years.
Wow.
The young lady after me, yeah, there was a young lady after me, and he did probably worse to her than what he did to me. And he won't see the light of day for a long time. He won't be able to hurt a female for a long time.
So I know you said that you're not in a relationship right now. Do you ever want to get married and have a kid? Like,
yes, I wanna get married. I want to get married one day and have a son.
Not a son.
I want my first child to be a son, and if God bless me with a set of twins, let my boy come out first, and then let the girl come out second. But if so, the older I get, is like, if he give me a daughter, I'll be grateful for whatever one. But I know for a fact he's gonna give me my son, because since a little girl, when I was babysitting my older sister, baby, crying and stuff, and I'm mad. I said, Lord, whatever you do, I said, Lord, please don't ever let me have a baby at an early age. I said, please don't let me have a baby at an early age. That's exactly what I prayed. I said, I feel like, I said, Lord, if you ain't holding on to nothing else, you holding on to that promise for me. So I just said, I want to do things different than my mom, and I want to be the one to break the generational curse. I want to.
What is that?
I don't want to have sex before marriage. I want to marry my husband after. I want to, sex after, but I feel like saying that, it sounds like a fairy tale and it sounds too perfect. But the man for me, that I know he's going to send him. He's going to
send you, yeah, that's right.
He's going to send that man to me. And when I say that, I want that to be my first and last marriage. I don't want to be married multiple times, over and over again. I know,
So are you saying that the guy that you married would be the guy that you didn't have sex with first, you had sex with after the marriage?
Yeah.
And he's going to give her son.
Right, because I was
and he's going to give me my son.
Sex before marriage,
Yeah, he's going to give me my son. I honestly, I just want to be celibate.
Okay.
I lost my sex drive for a long time. I just got my sex drive back probably last year.
Really?
But yes, I lost my sex drive for probably about a good year or so. Yeah, when I was with my, I told you my ex, I was with the past 6 years. I lost my sex drive after, that relationship because it just took a toll on me. And I felt like what I went through with him was for a reason. I changed spiritually, mentally, my body just changed, and I don't even eat meat. And this makes a year I haven't eaten meat.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's
yeah.
good.
Yeah. So I'm on a different journey, and I feel like I gotta protect every single thing, my temple, my body, my mind, my soul, because I can't take no more trauma. I can't take no more trauma. I can't. I'm not gonna say that I can't, because he ain't gonna put no more on me than I can bear. But I just don't want to endure no more trauma. And we have a will. We have a choice, and I'm choosing to live for me now, and not for anybody else.
That's it. That's definitely it. What I was going to ask you was, when this airs, how do you think your family and friends will react to you coming up here and talking with us and sharing about your life?
I believe most going to say about time she told her story, because I do get that I need to write a book. I mean, I sing, I did music, so I'm going to tell my story through my music, though. I'm going to get back into my music and just tell my story through my music. But I feel like they're going to say, that's what they're going to say. You need to do something. You should have been did that. Some might, I don't want to say nobody's going to feel a certain type of way, because I was here to tell the truth. And this is my story. If anybody feels a certain type of way about my story, then that's something that they're fighting with themselves.
Right.
And I feel like my story shouldn't harm anybody. If anything, I'm praying that it touches somebody. And they're gonna say she did it. She finally did it.
Right. So what made you come up here, like, to talk to us, though? Out of all the people, out of all things you could have, places you could have been, what made you say, let me go up there?
Well, first of all, why not wait a damn minute? Why not? Why not? This is the hottest podcast out here in the 757. Why not? Like, I've been watching y'all for a long time, and the vibes and everything. I just felt like I didn't feel no other more comfortable setting. And then y'all make it feel, cozy in here and everything. I was just like, that's where I'm gonna go tell my story. Just watching y'all and watching what y'all do for a long time, and I should have came on here, but the timing wasn't right. The timing wasn't right, But I really like what y'all do. I enjoy what y'all do. I mean, I wish y'all could have started this a long time ago, but y'all the reason why people like me can get out here and tell my story, to reach out to amongst other people, a lot of other people, and I really appreciate what y'all do. Thank y'all.
No problem. Ms. Gogan, do you have any further questions? I'm sure you do. I see you looking to the side.
No, I just have one question. So, at this point, you say you're 39?
I'm 39.
Well, so far, right now, what have your trauma taught you up until this point?
It's definitely taught me that it can be overwhelming, and if you hold on to trauma, you will explode. If you hold on to trauma, it can affect your life in a bad way. I've learned that it affected my relationships. Just me not talking about things along, getting out my story, or just not, really sitting down and, having that therapy. I've learned that trauma can kill you. It can either make you or break you. And I decided that I wanted to make me instead of breaking me. And it can destroy you. It can. If you don't learn how to deal with it and how to cope with it and find a way to heal from it, it will kill you. Literally, it will destroy you.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
So with that being said, guys, stay tuned to All Things Wait Again Minute. Good night.
Good night.